which is V'zacharti et briti Yaakov, v'afed briti Yitzchak, v'afed briti Avram, v'ha'aretz eskor. Which everybody talks with the fact that God says He'll redeem us for the sake of now Yaakov being the premier of the patriarchs. But based upon what midah? The midah of emet and the midah of Torah. But if that doesn't work and that's not sufficient, if the Jews aren't studying enough Torah, there's not enough truth in the Jewish world, I will redeem you b'schut Yitzchak. And the schut of Yitzchak is this idea of Mesirat Nefesh. He was willing to be offered himself as a carbon, as a sacrifice. And also, Yitzchak also represents the concept of Gevur. But if there's no Gevur amongst the Am Yisrael, then if God will redeem us b'schut Avram. What's the schut of Avram, of course? Chesed. Because at least if the Jews aren't keeping Torah, and the Jews are not being Moser Nefesh, but at least if the Jews are doing kindness around the world, and of course our Jews are all over the world doing chesed, then I will redeem the Jews. But then there's going to be a time when even the Jews aren't even involved in chesed. So what's left? Va'aretz eskor. But even greater than the schut avot is the schut of Eretz Yisrael. And so he says this is the insight that the Rebbe was trying to tell the world, that in the end, when all else fails in Galut, the one schut which never disappears is the power of Eretz Yisrael and the mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. And that's why Chabad has been very involved with encouraging tens of thousands of people involved in Chabad to be living in Eretz Yisrael, in Sfat, all over the country, and involved in every single facet of life in Eretz Yisrael. So therefore, this is a very interesting idea. Rabbi Tessler says, therefore, after all of this, he became an ardent Zionist right in the middle of the Holocaust. And since if HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give him the years to live, then he will write a sefer filled with thousands of footnotes and hundreds of pages about one thing: why Jews should leave the exile and find their way back, to at least try to get back to Eretz Yisrael to live because of the schut of Eretz Yisrael. This is the most powerful schut, even greater than the schut of it. I was very lucky. Last week, I organized in about 12 hours a group of 15 Orthodox rabbis. I led a group to Eretz Yisrael, and that's all we did for 70 hours, is we went to Netivot, Ashdod, Be'er Sheva, Ashkelon, Sderot. For the first 2 days, went to Barzilai Hospital in Ashkelon, went to Soroka Hospital in Be'er Sheva, and went to visit victim after victim, injured after injured after. The last day we spent in Ichlov Hospital in Tel Aviv, and also went to Rishon LeZion. And we visited with extraordinary human beings. Giborim, one of the most powerful businesses. Everybody has to say mincha, but I have to say mincha. I'm saying Kaddish. So about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I said, I need to get a meeting. So we got a meeting together, and where were we? I'm visiting with a soldier who actually is in my son-in-law's unit. Beautiful young man in Givati, who were the first ones that would go into Gaza, who the Hamas saw in patrolling by the border with 4 other soldiers, and they pulled out their bazooka, their mortar, and they shot it right into the jeep. And Baruch Hashem, no soldiers were killed, but he was the worst injured, in which he has gone blind, has shrapnel all over his body, shrapnel all over his face. His eyes are sewn shut by the surgeon. You can see actually the weaver's threads sewing his eyes shut. And he has 2 very bad wounds to the head. And the father said, don't leave. You know what? We'll get a minyan. Let's daven in my son's room. May the schut of our tefillah give him a refuah shlema. So his name is Yaakov Chai. Yaakov Chai is his name. Ben Chana. You want to make a mishaberach and have him in mind your refuah shlema. So here I was, and I asked, so which way is Yerushalayim? We're down in Be'er Sheva. So of course Yerushalayim is north. We pray north. So where was north? North was right smack facing the soldier's bed. And you know the Midrash, it says that when someone is ill, by Yaakov Avinu we learn this, that Hashem's Shekhinah rests at the head of the bed. So here we were davening right to the soldier, to Yehuda Chai, and staring right at the Shekhinah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it was an extraordinary mincha, which I've almost never had such a mincha in my life, where you're davening and there's a gibor, there's a soldier there who's risking everything he has so that you and I can be safe. Shrapnel all over his face, his eyes are sewn shut, he's blind. And we finished the davening mincha. You can imagine when you say Refoenu Hashem b'nei Rafei, Rofei Cholei Amo Yisrael, the kind of kavanah that everybody had, the tears rolling down everybody's eyes. And in fact, I didn't mention to you, so we only were able to get 9 guys to daven. So his father said, let's go, let's daven. I said, Avram is only 9. Yehuda Chai, he's the mini. And he's awake. And he tried as best he could. And at the end he said, please, before you leave, my son loves music. Can you sing something? So we said, what should we sing? A group of rabbis. It's a beautiful song that everybody sings in Eretz Yisrael. It's all over the place where you sing this song about, on my right is Raphael, on my left is Michael, behind me is Gabriel. The Malachim surround us and protect us. And so here we were. He said it was one of his son's favorite songs. It is one of his son's favorite songs. So he sang this song. It's extraordinary, staring at him and just could picture the Malachim surrounding this kadosh, this holy young man who is really is struggling in so many ways to barely survive. And when we left, we're all walking out. We said, Yehuda Chai, Hashem Yishmor Olcha, Hashem should protect you. Hagibor Shalanu. And we start to leave, and he can't open his eyes. Never. He mumbles to us. He says, thank you. God should bless you. And it really fits in perfectly with what the Rebbe was trying to teach us all, which we forget sometimes. But the schut, the mitzvah of Eretz Yisrael and the Jews who live there, it's in their schut, in their merit, that all of us are safe and protected here. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should grant a refuah shlema and sim shalom, the Rama of Hashem should bring peace to all of us, specifically peace to Eretz Yisrael, to Yad Yisrael, to Am Yisrael. And the Rebbe it's very special day, the 19th, should be a day that, and I say this also in the schut of my father's neshama, 31 years, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should really listen to the tefillot of those Giborim, who we stand on their shoulders and give us refuah shlema and shalom.
Amen. Shkach.
This is your father's name.
Shlomo Yehuda ben Aryeh.
Thank you. Good. אנחנו נקשה עם נוסח השבוע של מזקה, יש ססור, נקשה עם נוסח של נבע, עד למפות,